And I'm very terribly sorry. I've been talking to myself here for a good 7-8 minutes on mute by accident. My apologies. I will catch you up on some of the things that I said up till now. So we are 8 minutes into the first period, no score. Flames leading in the shot department here so far, 6-4. And we have an icing against the Flames. So sorry again, my apologies. I had quickly pressed mute when I had a cough in my throat, and when I went to unmute it, I must have double hit it. So here we are, 12:07 of the first period, no score. Second game of the two-game set between the Surge and the Flames. Flames hoping to bounce back after being shut out yesterday. Kimball, she's got it behind the net. She goes to Boursier, skips past her, up the right side to Cook. Here's a shot, wide angle. Our bull will hang on to that one, take the face off in the Flames zone. Couple of affiliates in the lineup today for the Flames. I see Sadie Mann wearing number 5, and we have somebody wearing number 3. I'm not sure who it is. I'll find out who that is between periods. I don't have it on my lineup sheet. So the Flames still playing a couple players short. They got Pulchis back yesterday after she missed a few injured. Waterhouse still out injured on the blue line, and Gauvin serving the last game of her 4-game suspension today, so she'll be back next week when the Flames have a home-and-home against the Rockets. One in Bucktouche at the Irving Center and one here at Grant Harvey. Here's Mitchell. She pushes it ahead, gets across the blue line, but now Nelson's going to get there. She's tied it up. Feltmate in to help. She digs it out, sends it up the right-hand side, held in at the blue line by Mitchell. Puck down below the Flames goal line. Daigle has it. Daigle looks up the left wing. Backhand not hard enough, doesn't clear the zone. Backhand attempt from a tight angle, it doesn't make its way to Arabeau. Now Feltmate's battling forward in the corner. Shots are 6-5 in favor of the Flames at the moment. Here comes the Surge in tight. Oh, Arabeau will hang on to that one. That should level up the shots to 6-on-6 at the 10:30 mark of the first period. Early on here, looks like the Flames are sporting some different line combinations that we've seen before. So here's Folks playing at center now. She's usually up the wing. And here's our affiliate, number 3. I'll find out who that is between periods and update my lineup sheet. Surge maintaining control here in the Flames zone. Working it back to the blue line. Here's Rossong. She misses wide right. Pinched in by at the other side, wrapped around. Man tries chipping it high up the glass, didn't get very far. Back of the blue line, I believe that's Tran over there, throwing that down deep. Nope, I think that's Gibbs. 16, sorry. Held into the blue line by Rossong. She backhands it into the zone. Surge forwards, heading to the bench for a change. Here come the Flames into the neutral zone. Here comes Hartnell. Hartnell against Boursier. Hartnell misses the net. That'll bounce back into the neutral zone. Now there's Tran. Tran goes cross ice. Not picked up by Kim. Kim recovers it. Kim's just going to whip it down into the Flames' end. Boursier is going to be there first. Boursier up the left side. Stopped by Man. Man in the corner. Johnstone there to help. Man and Johnstone still battling for it. Hartnell started the breakaway with it, but Man got back on her. There's Sommers. Sommers pinched that puck off. Held in the blue line there by Tran. Here's Tran from the blue line. That hit Johnstone, goes off to the corner. Now Leckie. Leckie backhands it below the net. Mitchell tries centering it. Now here's Johnstone. Johnstone pushes it ahead to Summers. Summers gets it into the surge zone. Picked up by Kim. Kim reverses behind the net. Sends it up the right side to Hartnell. .757 here in the first period. No score. Shots on goal still showing 6-6. Here's Daigle. Daigle cuts to the middle. Still with it. Daigle in close. Got in too tight. Tried centering it. Cook was there. Skipped past her. Flames regroup. Centering pass right up the middle. LeBlanc's going to have to play that one. A lot of flow here in the first period. Not a whole lot of whistles. No penalties. Surge with a shutout win yesterday. No change in the standings, though. They remain third place behind the Subway Selects and the Moncton Rockets. They have one game at hand on the Selects and a couple games at hand on the Rockets. And no change lower in the standings, where the Flames remain ahead of the Kraken. And just behind the Lynx. Lynx sitting 2 points ahead of the Flames. Puck scrambled behind the net. Comes up the left side. That's going to be held in by the Surge. Shot towards the net. Doesn't make its way. Daigle tries flipping it out. And finally, at least gets to the neutral zone. Here's Lawrence. Flames working different line combinations here than we usually see. Trying to mix things up, see if it can spur some activity. Puck got up to the blue line. Polchis couldn't quite get there. Surge come back. Tied up at the blue line now, Feltmate. She's going to turn around and have a look. Fires it up the left side. Misses the target. That's going all the way down. Arms up for icing, so we'll have a face-off back in the Flame zone at 5:54 of the first period. Still no score here. Second game of the two-game set with the Surge. Six to six. The shots on goal is what we're showing. Face off to the left of our bow. Nelson wins it. Chips along the wall to herself, but that's going to be held in the blue line. Shot from the point ends up in the corner. Back behind the Flames net again. Here's Boursier. Boursier. She's got a couple on her. Nelson moves in to help out. Still digging for it. Nelson and Boursier. Finally pops out onto the stick of Feltmate. Feltmate backhands it ahead to Lawrence. Lawrence loses it in her feet in the neutral zone. Here comes the Surge. Buffett. Cut in. Misses the net. Puck back into the Surge zone. Gibbs with it. Gibbs sends it up the right-hand side. Daigle flips it high into the air. Finally lands. Here's Dooland. Dooland trying to come out with it. Flames wrap it around behind the net. Folks was there. Folks keeps it in. Comes back. Daigle just outside the ringette line. She's going to take a shot. That's blocked. Back into the neutral zone. 4:33 left in the first period. Here's Folks. Sadie Mann, affiliate player here today. Defense from the U15 Storm, formerly known as the Phantoms. Puck's chipped into the Surge zone. Pressure on it. Pressure on Tran. She wraps it around to Hartnell. Here's Hartnell. Hartnell, 1-on-4. Dishes it off to Lecky. Lecky now behind the net. Backhands it around to Tran. Now Kimball. Kimball sends it behind the net to her. Not sure who is out there with Kimball at the moment. Here's Sommers. Sommers pushes it below the goal line. Johnstone trying to pinch it off on the other side. Gets past her. Up the right side to Hartnell. Hartnell centers it. Picked up in the neutral zone by Feltmate. Now Robertson. Lecky, she throws it down. Heads for a change. And some new Surge jump on the ice. Here's Daggle. Daggle by herself. Looking for a lane. She gets directed off to the corner. 2:50 left here in the first period. Still 6-6, the shots on goal showing. Daggle heads to the bench. Boursier steps on for her. Puck in the neutral zone. Feltmate pushes it back ahead. Mitchell set down in front of her own bench. No penalty on the play. Puck held into the blue line. In tight. Backhand attempt. Goes across to Cook. Loose puck. Flames couldn't tuck it in. $150 remaining now in the first period. No score. Here come the Surge. Joseph tries a shot. That ends up high and wide in the corner. Puck into the neutral zone. On the stick of Gibbs. Gibbs goes cross ice. Sent up for Vautour. But skip past her. Now Kimball. Kimball tries moving it up the wall. Doesn't get it. Now Vautour has it back in the corner. Nelson, Kimball battling for it. Vautour comes out with it. Sends it back to the point. Rosson goes cross ice. Shot by Gibbs. That misses wide right. Surge in tight. Here's Gibbs. I think that was tipped. It goes high and hits the glass. Final minute now of the first period. Here's Vautour. Vautour in the neutral zone. She whips it down. Surge going to make one more change here in the period. Kimball behind her own net. Sends it up the right side to Lawrence. Lawrence. She sends it cross ice to Polchis. Polchis just throws it towards LeBlanc and also heads for a change with 35 now left in the period. Here come the Surge. Mann pinches the puck free. Now Dooland. Dooland couldn't backhand it ahead to herself. Surge still with it. 18 seconds now left in the period. Shots on goal, 8-6 in favor of the Surge. Loose puck into the crease. Puck along the wall. Flames get in the neutral zone. That's probably going to do it as the final seconds tick off here. No score after the first period. 8-7 the shots on goal in favor of the Surge. And I will join you back here for the second period. All right, welcome back for the second period. We solved our mystery affiliate player problem. So we did already know that Sadie Mann was wearing number 5 playing defense. And up front we have number 3 is Chloe Lajoie, and number 13 is Taylor Fox. So all 3 of the affiliates, all Phantom, Storm, U18, AAAs. So now we can hopefully tell you who's who when they have the puck. All right, we're ready to start the second period. Shots on goal are 8-7 in favor of the Surge after the first period, but no score. Puck starts off in the Surge zone. Cross ice pass to Hartnell. Hartnell, it's just out of her reach. Battle for it in the corner. Boursier and Hartnell. Flames come out with it. Comes up the left side. Polchi's got it in the neutral zone. Turned back over by the Surge. Hits the linesperson. Kimball's battling for it. Kimball and Lawrence trying to fish it off the wall. Hartnell still with it. Hartnell moving into the slot. Shot attempt. That hit Boursier shin pads. Now Lecky. Lecky sends it back to the point. Shot by the Surge. Misses wide left. Polchi's is going to be there. Polchi's puts it on the glass. Gets into the neutral zone. Surge have to tag up. They don't, so they are offside. And we'll have face off. And we'll get the clock fixed up here. It's 18:59 of the second period. We'll get that clock to the same spot to match. Puck in the Surge zone. I think that's Gibbs, fired it up the side. Into the neutral zone. Now Mann. Mann by herself. Knocked off the puck, but the Surge player falls down, so Mann will recover it. Here comes Mann. She's taking up the middle. Mann still with it. She stripped off the puck just outside the blue line. Sticks with it and backhands it into the Surge zone and heads to the bench. There's Lajoie wearing 3. She's working with Dooland and Folks. Shot on our bow. She plays it in front of her, covers it up, and we'll have ourselves a face-off in the Flame zone at the 18:13 mark here. The second period, no score. Shots on goal are showing 8-8. Here comes Johnstone, Eason, and Sommers for the Flames. Johnstone will take the face-off against Eisner. Eisner pushes it off to the side. Surge send it down. Kimball fires it up the right side. Skips past Sommers. Sorry, that's Eason on that side. Eason in the neutral zone. Now Johnstone sends it back to the blue. Cross ice pass to Daigle. Daigle's coming up the left side. She's knocked off the puck. Here come the Surge. They have numbers. Player at the back door. Shot. Or Bo. She'll grab that one. Shots on goal now 9-8 for the Surge. Face off. In the Flame zone to the left of our bow. Smith wins it back. Here's Boursier behind the net. Boursier sends it up the right-hand side to Cook. Cook backhands it to the middle. Smith can't get it out. Back into the Flames corner. Eisner on it. Flames get it back. Kim's going to hold it at the blue line. Nope, skips past her. Into the neutral zone. Kim goes cross ice to Waterhouse. Oh, sorry, that's not wrong number 6. Mitchell. 6 would be Waterhouse for the Flames, but she's out injured. Not sure the exact time that we're going to see her back. Still a little bit of time, probably. Puck into the Flame zone. Here's Boursier. Borsier's knocked off the puck. Back to the point. Nedelko goes cross ice. Dumped back into the corner. Gould has it in the corner. Borsier's going to chip that up the wall. It's going to trickle down the ice. That's not going to go for icing, though. Mitchell sends it up the left side. Skips past Sangster. Surge still have it, though. Surge dump it in, head for a line change. Centering puck by Cook. Now Nelson. Nelson sends it to the corner. Up the right side. Cook can't quite get a handle on it. Kimball up the right-hand side, held into the blue line again. Sent down to the corner. Our ball will cover that one up, and we'll get a reset in the Flame zone. 15:45. And the clock has not stopped down in the booth. Some time running off the clock here. Nobody's noticed that. Okay, there it stopped now. About 6 or 7 seconds ran off the clock there by accident. None of the officials noticed, so that is what it is. Who's in to take the face-off here? I can't see either of the numbers, so can't tell you who took the face-off. Surge with control. Cross-ice pass. Here's Gibbs. Gibbs shot from the point. That's deflected. That's out of play, so we'll have a face-off again in the Flame zone. Some minor rule changes that some people might not know is all pucks out of play in the zone result in a face-off in the zone. It doesn't matter who put it out, who it went off of, who touched it last, all that stuff. The rule now is puck out of play equals face-off in the zone. Doesn't matter what happened. The whole purpose is to avoid the disputes over who touched it last or who chipped it out. .15:07, second period. No score here in the second game of the two-game set. We have Folks in to take the face-off. Folks working center today. She's usually at the wing. Different line combinations all around here for the Flames today. Here comes Hartnell. Hartnell gets past Daigle. Feltmate stepped over and knocked the puck free, though. Puck chipped up the left-hand side. Gibbs recovers in the neutral zone, goes cross ice. Surge. Chip it back into the Flame zone. Daigle's going to be there. Daigle tries moving it up the side to Dooland. Picked back off by Leckie. Leckie walking in. Leckie in tight. And that the 10th shot now for the Surge. Leckie tries centering it. Lost in the crowd there. Makes its way over to the sidewall. Here's the Surge. Drop off pass at the point. Shot doesn't get through. Daigle tries chipping it into the neutral zone, but it doesn't make its way out. Surge pressing a little bit here. Folks now behind the net. Folks and Lajoie over in the corner. Now Feltmate there now too. Surge walk out front. Backhand attempt in tight. Ends up back in the corner again. Puck now back to the point. On the stick of Tran. Tran dishes it off. Shot in the slot. Makes its way through. Arbeau plays that one. Back to Tran again. Tran comes cross ice to Kim. Kim sends it in. Rebound attempt. Arbeau keeps that one out with the left pad. Couple stabs at it. But it stays out. Fresh legs for the Flames. We have Nelson in to take the face-off. She's up against Eisner. Puck's lost in feet. but makes its way back to the Surge blue line. Dumped into the corner for Vautour. Vautour still working with it. Tried a shot attempt in the slot, but ended up in the corner. Here comes a shot from Nedelko. That misses wide left. Puck centered again. Now Polchi's on the left side. Polchi's tried pulling it inside. Lost a handle on it. Still in the Flame zone. Surge on a couple of minutes of pressure here. Flames unable to get it out of the zone. Held in again. Lawrence battles for it. Takes a stab at it. Puck's free. Nelson's going to get it in the corner. Wrap it around the left side. Still in the Flame zone again. Here's Kimball. Kimball backhands it to Boursier. Boursier up the left side to Polchi's. Polchi's is tied up. Dished back into the corner again. Here's Kimball up the right side to Lawrence. Lawrence gets into the neutral zone. Here come the Surge again. Into the Flame zone. Directed into the corner. Puck back to the point. Gibbs tosses it down low. Here's Poirier. Poirier's knocked off the puck. Now Nelson. Nelson sends it into the corner, heads to the bench for a change. Eason was in a challenge on it, but it's coming back the other way again. Puck into the Flame zone. Feltmate's there. Feltmate behind the net. Up the right side to Eason. Misses her. Offside on the Surge. They have to tag up. And they clear. Now Sommers. Sommers pushes it in. Doesn't get it very deep though. Here's Hartnell. Johnstone trying to put pressure on Hartnell. Takes her down. And that's going to be a trip against Johnstone. And we are going to have the first power play of the game for the Surge. 11:07 of the second period, no score. Shots on goal are 13-9 in favor of the Surge. And now Johnstone in the box with the trip. Captain Folks in to take the face-off for the Flames. She's going to line up against Eisner. Eisner wins it back. Here's Rossong. Shot. Hits feet. Surge. Reset. Centering attempt. That one's knocked free. Daigle. That one's coming out of play. And we have a souvenir in the stands. 20 seconds gone in the Johnstone tripping minor. 10:47 here of the second period. No score. Eisner will face off again here against Folks. Puck's tied up, but it finally bounces back to Rossong. She goes cross ice to Kim. Kim back to Rossong. Rossong walks in, takes a shot through traffic, loosens the crease, and that one's in. A lot of activity right there in the crease, but the Surge tap in a rebound in the scramble to take a 1-0 lead on the power play. So the Surge needed 33 seconds of that power play to tuck one in, take the 1-0 lead. Shots on goal are now 14-9 in favor of the Surge. 10:34 in the second period. Leckie in to take the face-off against Smith. Pops over to Cook on the right side. Now here comes Hartnell. Hartnell. She shot high left. Just went over the net though. Now up the right side. Cook. She's taken down. Smith is there battling with her. Back to the corner for Feltmate. Feltmate reverses. Feltmate looks up the right side to Cook. And here come the Flames. Here's Fox. Fox, she's directed behind the net. Backhanding up front to Cook. Nice centering attempt by Fox to Cook. But LeBlanc with the save. We have an icing against the Surge, so we'll have a face-off to the right of LeBlanc. 15-10, the shots on goal now in favor of the Surge. Nelson in to take the face-off for the Flames. Looks like she's up against Lecky. One by the Flames. Mann takes a shot. Hit Mitchell in the back. Here come the Surge. Lecky throws it down low in the Flame zone. Backhanded by Mann. Now Kimball. Kimball looking for a long cross-ice pass. Skips past everybody, including Polchis, the intended target. Here comes Nelson. Nelson in the slot. Didn't get much on that shot. Kind of hit the post and ends up off in the corner. Held on the blue line. Shot attempt is blocked. Here's Nelson again. Nelson in close. I think it hit LeBlanc in the helmet. Tipped up high. There's Mann taken down in a pile. And the Surge will dump it into the Flame zone. Nelson's back there first. Nelson sends it up the left side to Mann, but it gets past her. Here's McCormick. McCormick gets a shot. That's pushed off to the side. Softly chipped into the neutral zone. Arms up for icing. And it will come back to the Flame zone. No change icing, so the Flames can't change anybody here. 8:24 now of the second period. Flames trailing 1-0 off the power play goal. Nelson in to take the face-off against McCormick. Face-off one clean by McCormick, back to Gibbs. Gibbs throws it down, wraps around the boards. Surge are going to be there first, though. McCormick working along the wall. Nelson putting pressure on that. McCormick still with it. McCormick still in the corner. Sends it down low below the goal. Centering pass attempt. That's picked off. Here comes Polchis. Polchis along the wall. Puck's tied up. Ref calling for the puck to be moved. Kimball's in there. Nelson's in there. And I'm pretty sure Polchis is in there too. And finally comes out. Here's a race. Kimball dives, tried to get the puck. That's going to be a penalty. But Eisner was about to pull away, so not much choice there for Kimball but to take the stab at it. And the Surge heading back to power play after a Kimball tripping call. 7:34 now the second period, and the Surge back on the power play. Eisner in to take the face-off. One by the Flames, by Smith. Smith lost it in her feet, though. Couldn't get it out of the zone. Surge will set up. Here's Eisner. Eisner walks towards the net. Rebound. Shot by Hartnell on the rebound. Picks the top right corner. And the Surge now have a second power play marker to take a 2-0 lead here in the second period. Johnstone, Summers, and Eason out now for the Flames. Eisner takes the face-off and wins it. Johnstone and Summers along the wall. And the play is blown down. 7:02 of the second period. Flames trailing 2-0. Shots on goal are 17-12 in favor of the Surge. Eisner and Johnstone facing off. Puck bobbles to the wingers. And the Surge recover it. Johnstone chips it up the right side. Here's Eason. Eason tries centering it to Somers. Hits feet. Puck still in the neutral zone here. Johnstone fishing for it in her feet. Finally gets it out. Feltmate comes across ice to Daigle. Daigle tries chipping it up to Somers. But Vautour will throw that into the Flame zone and head to the bench. Poirier steps on for Vautour. Puck softly into the neutral zone. It's going to be picked up by Tran. Tran sends it up the left side to Gould. Now Poirier. Poirier centers it to Gould. Arbault will direct that off to the side. And here come the Flames. Chipped into the neutral zone. Now Feltmate follows it up. Feltmate softly shovels it, but she wasn't over the red line, so that one will come back for icing. At 6:02 now, the second period. Surge, 2 power play goals here in the second period, and they lead 2-0. So we'll have Johnstone in to take the face-off against Gould. Both on their weak side for that face-off, and Gould wins it. Shot attempt from the point, hit Daigle in the foot and ended up in the corner. Here's the surge below the goal line. Centering attempt. It's going to make its way back to the point, held in by Mitchell. Now Somers. Somers up the left side. She has nobody with her and no space. Sangster takes her down. Nedelko now throws it into the Flames corner. Feltmate is going to pick that one up. Feltmate softly up the glass to Johnstone. Johnstone tried shoveling it. Plays whistle down in my blind spot here behind the sponsor posters in front of the Flames bench. I think I saw a coach step on the ice. I don't know what happened or who's down. Something happened over here. Somers, Eason, and Johnstone were on the ice. I think I see. Is it Smith possibly who stepped off there? Not sure. Might have been Clara Smith. And I'm not sure what happened there. But she kind of partly stepped down the tunnel down there, and the team trainer gonna have a look at her. I can see Somers, Eason, and Johnstone on the bench, so I think my speculation that it was Smith could be true. I'm not sure. Or maybe it was Nelson. We'll find out. Oh no, I can see Smith through the bench here, so perhaps Nelson. I thought I saw a 7 on the jersey that went down the tunnel. Anyway, 4:56 of the second period. Flames trailing 2-0. Folks putting pressure on it in the corner, and Dooland. Dooland tried kicking it ahead with her feet. Let the Surge come out with it. Robertson dishes it into the corner. Centering attempt just goes cross ice, doesn't hit anybody. Now it's down below the net for Hartnell. Hartnell tried dishing it off at the point. Now there's a foot race. Here's Lajoie. Lajoie takes a long shot. And LeBlanc will just hang on to that one. 18-13 the shots on goal. And we're going to have a face-off to the left of LeBlanc. Smith in to take it. I can't tell if that's McCormick or Joseph. That was McCormick. Puck coming down. Arm up for icing. Waved off. Held in the blue line by Feltmate. Picked back up by Tran. Tran up to Joseph. Joseph tries pushing it ahead to herself. Oh, it's picked up. Shot attempt. It goes over the net though. Flames try chipping it up the left side. Stays in the zone. Here's Fox. Fox knocks it free. Fox has Cook. Fox and Cook. Fox shoots top right corner and the Flames are on the board. So, 2-1 here late in the second period, 3:25 left. Affiliate Taylor Fox pushed the puck ahead to herself, went in, picked that top right corner. She had Cook heading to the back door as an option, but elected to shoot, and a nice shot it was. Shots on goal are 18-14 now in favor of the Surge. But the Flames have now cut the lead in half. Here's Nelson. Nelson. She dished it off to Lawrence. Lawrence's shot's tipped. Scramble in front of the net. Lawrence fishing for it. Loose puck. Another shot attempt. Loose. Finally directed off into the corner. Good scramble there by the Flames. Into the neutral zone. Daigle. She lost a handle on it, but Boursier pushed it ahead. No assists recorded on the goal, so Fox unassisted is the goal call. And we are at 2:37 of the second period. The Flames have cut the lead in half here late in the period after the Surge scored 2 power play goals earlier, both off tripping calls. Held into the blue line by Kimball. Ends up deep in the corner. Dooland is there. Dooland tries cutting out with it. Puck's on end. She loses it. Rolled away. Now Folks causes turnover in the neutral zone. Battle along the wall. Dooland with it. Dooland in Lajoie. Dooland in the corner. Drops it for Folks. Folks, tight angle. Dooland picked up the rebound. Got the second tap at it. Still free. Folks is poking. And we have a goal. Ref right in there tight in a good position. Said the puck was free. Folks kept poking. And in it goes. I think we're going to have a Folks goal. I'm going to guess Folks from Dooland maybe. We'll wait for the call. It's kind of hard to tell. Everybody was in there. And the Flames have tied it up. Shots on goal are evened up now too at 18 apiece. 1:48 left in the second period. Coach obviously unhappy with that. Asking why there was no whistle, I'm sure. Referee was in a pretty strong position to see what was going on. He says the puck, you can just see by his gestures here in front of me, he's saying the puck was free. Coach making some gestures about looking like he's kind of saying that the goalie was pushed in along with the puck, but he's doing my best to read lips and hand gestures here, but basically comes down to he's not changing his mind. Maybe a bit of an explanation of what he saw. So 1:40 now left in the second period, and we have ourselves a tie game. Hartnell comes in with a shot attempt. She's proven to be very dangerous. Puck into the Flame zone. Daigle picks it up. Here comes Daigle. She's got Lajoie. Long cross ice pass. Lajoie has it in the corner. Surge Moving into the Flame zone. Centering pass. Shot attempt there by Lecky, but she didn't get much on it. Our ball will cover that up, and we're at 1:05 left in the second period in what is shaped up to be quite a second period here. Flames looked flat for a little while after a couple power play goals by the Surge, but late energy here in the period have come back and tied it up. Off goals by Fox and Folks. There, I got that right. It was indeed Folks from Dooland. Johnstone pushes it ahead to Smith. Looks like it's out of Smith's reach. Flames are offside, have to tag up. Here comes Tran. Tran goes up the neutral zone. Man. Oh, no. Looked like a harmless play, and the Surge have bounced right back to regain the lead with 30 seconds left in the period. Certainly a little deflating after the late comeback here, but here we go. 30 seconds left in the second period. Shots on goal 20-18 in favor of the Surge. And we'll wait for the goal announcement. Danica Joseph. So I think she said 8, McCormick. So we have Joseph from McCormick, and there's a penalty. Now the Flames will get a chance on the power play. Referees conferring to agree on what they saw. So it is Buffett headed to the box. I didn't see the signal. Couldn't quite tell what it was. I'm going to guess that was a boarding call based off the arm position of the referee. I couldn't see the signal, but we'll wait and see. It sounded like boarding and looked like boarding. So, Flames will have 13.5 seconds of power play here to finish up the second period. And looks like we're going to have Nelson in to take the draw against Eisner. Eisner wins it along the wall, wrapped around the net, on the stick of Vautour. Vautour, she'll get that down the ice. And this is going to do it. Flames aren't going to get back up with the chance for this much time. And that's the end of the second period. 3-2 in a 5-goal period here between these two teams. 2 power play goals for the Surge, and then a little bit of a late soft one. And the Surge lead 3-2 after 2 periods. I will rejoin you for the third period shortly. All right, we're back now for the third period. Flames making their way to the bench here. Surge already crossed the ice onto their bench. And there's the fourth ref. I only saw 3 there for a second. There's the fourth. Flames still trickling out of the dressing room onto the ice here. So the Flames will start off on a power play here. 1:47 remains on that. Trailing 3-2 to start the third period here. Shots on goal are 20-18 in favor of the Surge. So it looks like we will have Lawrence, Nelson, Polchis starting this power play off for the Flames. Feltmate and Daggle on the blue line. Eisner in to take the face off for the Surge, and she wins it back. Surge will throw that one down, no icing on the penalty kill. Daggle's looking to set things up. Makes her way out. Centers it for Polchis. Polchis carrying it to neutral zone, chips it to the left for Lawrence. Nelson just barely stayed onside there. Looked like she was going to go down, but kept her footing and stayed vertical. Down now below the Surge net. Nelson peels it free. Backhands it into the corner for Lawrence. Lawrence along the wall, still has it. Lawrence and Nelson still trying to fish that puck out. Now Lawrence has it again. She's pinned. Eisner and Mitchell battling with Lawrence and Nelson in the corner there. And now Feltmate has it. Feltmate, shot, hits feet. Vautour backhands it, doesn't get out. Feltmate rips it down into the corner, and it'll get tagged right back to her. Feltmate goes cross ice to Daggle. Daggle, shot through traffic, and LeBlanc will hang on to that. 1 minute gone here in the period. 43 seconds remain in the Flames power play, and we will have a new squad jump over the bench here for the Flames. Dooland, Folks, Boursier, Kimball, and Chloe Lajoie. Face off, won by Folks over to the side. Boursier comes across to Kimball. Kimball back to Boursier. Boursier sends it up along the wall to Dooland. Dooland sends it back to Boursier again. Boursier again cross ice to Kimball. Kimball to Folks. Folks back to Boursier. Dooland skips over her stick. Battle along the wall now. Dooland's taken down. Lajoie gets it back to Boursier. Boursier shot attempt. Doesn't make it through. Into the neutral zone. Here's Kimball. 9 seconds left on the Flames power play. Boursier. Over to Dooland. No, sorry, to Lajoie. And we're back to even strength. Ref looking to have that puck moved. Everybody converging there. Feltmate hanging back for the Flames. Puck finally comes free. Lajoie putting pressure on it. Here's Poirier. Poirier gives it off to Gould. Gould, she's peeled off the puck. Back into the Surge zone. Long stretch pass up to Gould. Gould along the wall. Battling for it. Now here's Hartnell. Hartnell steps through. Shot attempt. Ends up on the side of the net. Our Bull will hang on to that one and we'll have a face-off. 21-19 shots on goal in favor of the Surge. The scorer also in favor of the Surge, 3-2. All 5 goals coming in the second period. 2 power play markers for the Surge and 1 even strength. Flames looking to counter again here in the third period. Here's the Surge. Puck in the corner. Still controlled by the Surge. Hartnell tries centering it. Hits some feet. Now Nelson has it. Nelson dishes it into the neutral zone. Recovered by Rossung. Here comes Hartnell. Hartnell by herself. Takes a shot. Arbo will cover that one up. And we'll take that face off again. Here comes Dooland, Folks, and Lajoie again. Folks playing center today. Among the several different line combinations that we're seeing today. Things getting mixed up. Shot from the blue line, doesn't make its way to Arbo, ends up along the side wall. Here's Lajoie. She centers it to Dooland. Back on the stick of Lajoie. Ends up in the corner. Folks putting pressure on it. Behind the net's Nedelko. She sends it up the left-hand side. Chipped up along the glass by Lajoie. Down in the corner by Folks. She's tried to center it. Didn't get there. Chipped into the neutral zone. Kimball has it here. She's pressed along the wall in front of the Surge bench. Couple bodies in there. I see Dooland. I see Kimball. Finally pops out to Folks. Folks tries going across to Daigle. Gets past her, and now the Surge have it in the Flame zone. 15:55 of the third period. Flames trailing 3-2 here in the second game of the two-game set from the weekend. Surge, soft spin and fire from the blue line, makes its way into the corner. Here's Dooland. She's going to carry it through the neutral zone and dump it in and go for a change. Here comes Smith, Easton, and Johnstone for the Flames. Feltmate and Boursier are on the blue line at the moment. In the neutral zone, Boursier stops it. Shovels it in over the blue line. But it's back on the stick of the Surge, who will send it down the ice. Arm is up for icing. And that'll come back into the Surge zone at the 15-11 mark of the third period. Shots on goal are 22-19 in favor of the Surge. Here comes Polchis, Nelson, Lawrence. Lawrence will take the face off on her strong side. But the Surge come right out with it. Here comes Sangster. Sangster's all by herself. Surge going for a change that they weren't able to get on the icing call. There's Gibbs, wraps it around the wall. Held into the blue line by Boursier. Now Lawrence challenging for it down below the goal. Lawrence and Polchis battling along in the corner there. Surge come out with it. Here's Sangster again. Sangster's by herself. Still with it. Sangster finally works it back to the point, but it skips past Gibbs and goes all the way down the ice. Surge quickly reverse it and are back up in the ice in the Flame zone. Here's Smith centering puck to Vautour. She didn't get much on the shot. Knuckleballed. Arbo knocks that off to the side. Here's Nedelko. She sends it up the right side. Comes back to her again now. Nedelko across to Mitchell. Mitchell into the neutral zone. Stopped by Kimball. Now Smith. Smith throws it down. LeBlanc to play it. Here's Daigle. She picked it off, cuts in, takes a shot, directed off to the corner. Back to the point again. Just out of the reach of Daigle. And the Flames have to tag up for offside and send it back into the Surge zone. It's up the right side. Here's Hartnell. Hartnell over to Buffett. Buffett gets it to center for Mitchell. Mitchell tried to shot in tight. Puck ends up in the corner. Here's Hartnell again. Hartnell. Cross ice to Kim. Kim to Hartnell. Shot. Directed to the corner by Arbo. Now Cook fighting for it. Shot attempt in close, ends up off in the corner again. Here's Mann. She shovels it off to her left. Whoa, accidental collision there. Looked like a knee-on-knee incidental in the center ice. Both players seem to have gotten up fine and making their way to the bench, though. Folks down in the Surge corner. Centers it for Lajoie. Shoots and scores. Lajoie ties it up here at the 12:09 mark of the third period. Folks digs it out of the corner, centers it to Lajoie, and we have a tie game, 12:09. Shots on goal are 24-23 in favor of the Surge. Two of the three goals from affiliate players today. And we have ourselves a tie game at the 12-minute mark of the third period. Puck into the neutral zone. Feltmate has it. Sends it back into the Surge zone. Here's Dooland. Dooland tries to knock it free, but the Surge maintain it. Long cross-ice pass. Here comes McCormick. McCormick cuts to the middle. McCormick shot right into the glove of our bow. Little bobble on it, but she recovers it and covers it up. Nelson in here to take a face-off. Loose puck. Here's Daigle. Daigle looking for a hole. Just about got free, but she still has the puck. She's going to make her way back to the neutral zone. Flames will have to tag up here. And they do. Now Daigle. Looked like she was taken down there. No arm on the play. In nice, tight shot. And LeBlanc will cover that up. 11-11. A lot of matching numbers up here on the board. 11-11, 3-3-3. 25-24 shots on goal in favor of the Surge. Face off to the right of LeBlanc. Nelson in to take it. Nelson ties it up. Flames get it back to the point. Mann, shot attempt. Deflected off to the corner. Here's Poirier. Poirier comes cross ice to Sangster, who sends it into the Flame zone. Mann turns it over behind the net, comes up the right side. Back into the Flames corner. Loose puck in front. Sangster by herself. Arbeau right there cut off the angle and will cover it up. Face off in the Flame zone. Folks, Dooland, Lajoie back out. Folks will take the draw against Eisner. Eisner wins it clean. Not counting or keeping any track, but I feel like Eisner's done pretty well on the face-off dot today. Centering pass to Vautour. Broken up by Folks. Now Eisner behind the net. Sends it back to Mitchell. Mitchell, shot attempt. Hits Feltmate. Flames can't get it out though. Eisner goes to her knees at the blue line. And we have a whistle. Just over the halfway point of the third period. Tie game here, 3-3. Flames looking to bounce back after a shutout loss to this team yesterday. Definitely showing a lot more life today. Here's Leckie. Turns it over along the wall. Hartnell has it. Here comes Hartnell. Hartnell cuts in. Arm went up on that play. So, looks like Mann's going to the box. Are they going to call that an interference, or what are we calling here? A trip. So, the Surge going to a power play. Johnstone and Cook out to kill it, along with Daigle and Feltmate. Johnstone in to take the face-off against Eisner. Well, just after I said something about Eisner's success on the face-off, Johnstone wins it on the penalty kill, and the puck gets down the ice. "15 seconds ticked off the clock on the man penalty. Here comes Robertson. Robertson keeps it. Dishes it off to Hartnell. Hartnell to Rossong. Back to Rossong. Rossong in the middle of the lane. Takes a shot. Arbeau directs it off to the corner. And the Flames get it back down the zone. Again, 2 penalty killers gone to the bench for a change. Here comes Folks and Lawrence. Almost halfway through this power play. Puck's turned over. Folks tried to jump up on it, but it was just out of her reach. Here comes Robertson. Robertson in tight. Tries to backhand it along the goal line. Surge maintain control here. Here's Eisner. Eisner gonna cut it in the middle. Has a nice shooting lane. And the Flames center it again. 35 seconds left in the man penalty. 8:12 left in the third period. Tie game here. Surge just slightly ahead in the shot department, 27-24. Here comes McCormick. McCormick. She dumps it in. Daigle's there, put pressure on it. Joseph now behind the net. Joseph moves it back to the point. Joseph. Centering pass attempt is chipped. And here comes Mann out of the box with it. Moving towards the net. Backhand attempt. Johnstone was at the back door, but pass didn't get across to her. A rebound or a pass. Johnstone maybe would have had a good backdoor knock-in attempt. Here comes a shot. In tight. And Arbeau will hang on to that one. Face-off to the right of Arbeau. Going to be taken by Folks. Kind of a neutral face-off. Ends up along the wall. Folks jumps over to try and help take it. Boursier there. But the Surge come out with the puck. There's Dooland. Putting pressure on it. Down below the goal line. Now Boursier. Boursier wraps it around. Gets past Mann. Now Dooland's pinned. Now Mann has it again. Mann tries going cross ice to Lajoie. Puck still hasn't cleared the zone though. Dooland's on a knee. Makes his way back to Mann. Mann tries again. Finally into the neutral zone to Lajoie. Lajoie now to Dooland. Here comes Dooland. Dooland takes a long shot. LeBlanc will hang on to that one. And we'll take a face-off in the Surge zone with 6:33 left now in the third period. Tie. Tied 3-3. Shots on goal, 28-26 in favor of the Surge, so pretty even in that department as well. Nelson in to take the face-off for the Flames, but it's won by, I think that's Vautour. Sometimes he's... When the jerseys get scrunched up in the pants, tip attempt by Lawrence on the Polchi's shot. Dangerous, but LeBlanc hangs on to that. Face off, it's tied up. Lawrence tried pushing it ahead there, out of her feet. But it's going to end up in the possession of the Surge. Surge. Here comes Sangster. Sangster, one-on-one against Kimball. Takes the wide angle lane. Takes the shot attempt, misses high. Shoveled back into the corner by Tran. Centering attempt to Poirier there. Kind of got tangled up. Now Pulchis. Here come the Surge again. Shots blocked. Shot attempt again. That one misses wide left. Comes around the boards. It's going to make its way into the neutral zone. Cross ice pass to Gibbs. Flames going for a change. Long pass. Nelson breaks it up and sends it down. She heads to the bench for a change. Cook, Smith, and Fox out here now for the Flames. Cook taken down. She gets up and rejoins the play. Here's Boursier. Boursier gets it up to Cook. Cook. She'll take a long, wide shot. Misses the net. 5-minute mark now of the third period. And we have ourselves a tie game. Here's Feltmate. Feltmate cuts back. Loses an edge. Falls down. Surge recover it. Backhand along the wall to Hartnell. Shot attempt from the point. Directed to the corner by Arbo. Now Cook. Pushes it in the neutral zone. Heads to the bench for a change. Folks, Doolan, Lajoie step on the ice for the Flames. Mann and Daigle on the blue line. Here's Mann. Carrying it. Mann still with it. Mann makes it most of the way up the ice. Finally peeled off the puck though. Mann will whip it into the corner. Folks and Lajoie are going to try and chase that. Up the left side to Robertson. Robertson in the neutral zone gets knocked off the puck. Now Folks has it. Folks centers it. Dooland just in front of her. Couldn't get a handle on it. Here comes Robertson. Robertson gains the blue line. But now it's on the stick of Daigle. Flames coming back the other way. Daigle still with it. Surge get a change in there. So do the Flames. Nelson, Lawrence, Pulchis out here now. Puck back to the point. Tran. Tran again. Doesn't make its way through. Hits Daigle. Daigle has it. Tries backhand it again to herself. Here's Daigle. Daigle has Pulchis going to the back door. Pass attempt doesn't get across. 3-minute mark now of the third period. Soft shot attempt by Lawrence from kind of far out, directed off to the corner. Now Nelson along the wall. Nelson centering attempt to Lawrence. Gets past her. Puck chipped into the neutral zone by Gabby Landon. Puck in the Flame zone. McCormick with it along the wall. McCormick cutting out high in the slot. Shot attempt. That doesn't make it anywheres. Slapped up the side again. Kept in. Big shot. I think that was Tran. Surge pressuring here. 2:15 of the third period. Rossong goes cross ice to Tran. Tran, shot attempt. That's blocked. Still held in at the blue line by Rossong. Rossong backhands it into the corner for Eisner. Eisner looking at options. Eisner tries to go back to the blue line. Lawrence got a stick on it. Eisner gets it right back though. Eisner coming with some speed. Gets past Nelson. Eisner, tight angle, centers it. Nobody able to get a stick on it. Ends up off on the side. Here's Buffett. Buffett, centering pass attempt to Vautour. And it's picked up by Dooland. Here comes Dooland. Dooland tries cutting to the middle. Pushes it ahead to herself. Still has it in the corner. Folks shows up on the scene, but gets past her too. Less than 90 seconds left in the game now. in our 3-3 tie. Here come the surge. Shot attempt ends up in the corner. Now Daigle. Daigle. She has Lajoie. Lajoie back to Daigle. Passes in front of her. Daigle throw it towards the net. Into the glove of LeBlanc, who will hold onto it for a face-off in the surge zone. 1:08 left on the clock in this 3-3 tie game. Shots on goal are 33-27 now in favor of the surge. Face-off in the surge zone. Nelson's going to take that against Leckie. Here comes the neutral zone. Mann will throw that back in. Surge will regroup. Back up to Hartnell. Hartnell centers it for Leckie. Puck's directed to the corner. Leckie has it behind the net. Leckie centering puck. Back to the point. Here's Mitchell. Mitchell. It's on the stick of Polchis, but skips past her again too. 40 seconds now left on the clock. Lawrence tries shoveling it across to Polchis. Ends up back in the flame zone. Here's Hartnell. Now Mann along the wall. Surge have it. Comes back to Mitchell at the point. Shot attempt. Hits shin pads. It's a race for it between Mitchell and Lawrence. Mitchell will win that and reverse it. Back through the middle. Polchi's got a stick on it, but it's still in possession of Robertson. Shot attempt. That misses the net. We're down to 7 seconds left on the clock. And we're going to have ourselves a tie game. (33-27), the shots on goal at the end of the third period. Let's reset our clock here. What are we doing? We're going to have 5 minutes of overtime, I would say, is what we're going to do. So let's get this clock set up for you. Whoops, not 6 minutes. 5 minutes. And all right, we're going to have ourselves some overtime here. 5 minutes is up on the board. So the Flames will send out Captain Folks, Daigle, and Dooland. For the Surge, we have Vautour, Eisner, and Rossong. Folks will take the face-off against Eisner. Tied up, makes its way back to Rossong. Pass attempt, makes it all the way down. Doolin's going to be there. Vautour comes to put pressure. That's icing. So 12 seconds gone in the overtime, and we'll have a face-off into the left of LeBlanc. No change for either team, so it'll be Eisner facing off against Folks. Folks now on her weak side, but Eisner is as well. Puck ends up along the wall. Dooland comes out with it. Dooland's going to look to settle things down here. Gives it to Daigle. Daigle walks the line. Here comes Daigle. Daigle cuts in. Shot. LeBlanc saves that off to the side. Daigle recovers it. Dishes it off to Dooland. Dooland walks out front. Backhand attempt. LeBlanc handles that one too. Folks is going to keep it. Here's Folks. Folks spins and fires to Dooland. Dooland tries sending it across to Daigle, who was cutting in. And puck trickles into the neutral zone. Folks and Dooland head to the bench for a change. Nelson and Lawrence jump on. Here comes Hartnell. Hartnell, cross-ice pass. Nice save by our Bo. Cut across. Puck in the corner. Race for it in the neutral zone. Back on the stick of Hartnell. Hartnell's peeled off it. Now Boursier. Boursier trying to get free. Can't. Now Nelson has it. Nelson backhands it to Boursier. She has space now. Sends it up the left side. Skips past everybody, but Mitchell picks it up for the Surge. Here's Hartnell. Knocked off her stick into the neutral zone. Surge need to tag up. That's offside. Finally blown down. Discussion over where this faceoff goes. Coming all the way down on the long delayed offside. 3:09 remain in the overtime. And we have Juland, Folks, and Daigle out here again for the Flames. Shots on goal 34-29 in favor of the Surge. Puck's picked off by Daigle, but quickly back on the stick of the Surge. Now back to Juland. Juland up to Daigle. Daigle. She has a wide angle. She tries cutting in. Down on her knees. Carries the puck to the net still. Knocks the net right off. And we have 2:50 left on the clock here in overtime. Daigle, hard cut to the net. Takes it right off. So the face-off will come into the neutral zone in this instance. One of the few remaining instances that the play comes into the neutral zone. Here's Juland. Juland looking for space. Tries a centering puck to Lawrence. And here come the Surge. McCormick, shot attempt. She was looking at the high top right corner, but she misses the net. Now Lawrence back the other way. Recovered by Nedelku. Nedelku backing up. Pushes it up to Joseph. Gets past Joseph. Long stretch pass to Lawrence. Lawrence one-on-one. Chips it into the net. She's going to force LeBlanc to hang on to it and take the face off in the Surge zone. Hartnell, Robinson, and Rossong for the Surge. Folks, Daigle, and Lajoie for the Flames. Puck behind the net. Lajoie right there putting pressure on Hartnell. Hartnell goes down. Now Lajoie goes down too. Loose puck. Here comes Robertson. Robertson gains the blue line, and that is offside. Hartnell and Robertson both in the same lane. Robertson's kept her lane, and Hartnell had to go offside. Doolin jumps on in favor of Lajoie, so now it's Daigle, Lajoie, and Folks. Hartnell walks in. Shot! She rips it high top shelf for the game winner in overtime. 1:47 was left on the clock. Hartnell walked in. She really let a shot go, though. And the Surge win it in overtime, 4-3. The Flames, however, after how the game went yesterday, certainly take some positives in this game. So, all right, that's it for the game today. 2 games next week, home and home against the Rockets. Join us for those.